welcome to another Bangkok bike diary. I'm just leaving work now. Posted a few videos of my commute to work already, and I've got some comments from some people that have watched them, so I thought I'd make another one on the same trip and just talk about some of the peculiarities and unique features of riding a bike in Bangkok. Might as well get started straight away. So you'll see now I'm riding on the sidewalk that's legal in Bangkok. The law states that you're allowed to ride for a reasonable period of time to get around congestion. I'm using it at the moment because the traffic you'll see on my left side here is heading in the wrong direction to the way I want to go. And to do a U-turn up that way is about another 2 kilometers away. So much faster for me just to join the traffic here. You see, I'm mostly surrounded by bikes in the traffic of Bangkok. This is a police guy in front of me here. You can see even the police enjoy their riding in Bangkok, waving us through. So one of the unique things around riding a bike in Bangkok is you're surrounded by a lot of other bikes all the time. About 60% of the registered vehicles on Thai roads are motorbikes. So that includes buses, taxis, cars, privately owned, commercially owned. Just trying to get a better view of this guy up here. It's pretty funny to watch riding. This cop. Follow him through. So that creates an environment where the people in cars or trucks or buses or bigger vehicles are very much aware of how bikes function, of the limits and also the capabilities, where they're comfortable, where they're not comfortable. Madai, he's going to push through. So that's it. There's a few things that car drivers do a little bit differently to other countries. Very rare that you'll see choppy fast lane changes from car drivers in Bangkok. The real risk is that if you do a fast lane change, you're going to hit something. Not only a bike, but maybe somebody with a food stall, a pedestrian maybe. You know, you're sharing the road with a huge variety of vehicles here, more so than other countries I've ridden in. So actually, if you're in a car, you kind of have to be a little bit more slow and sedate than what you'd be used to in America or in Western countries, where cars kind of rule the road. That's definitely not the case here. I'd say bikes rule the road, followed by cars, but really everybody has to give way to the slowest common denominator, which normally ends up being sort of taxis and restaurants. Sorry, just still trying to watch that guy. I really want to get him. So I see this guy here, even though he pulls his nose out, he does it quite slowly, enough time to get around, no problems. So that was one thing that I just wanted to sort of highlight in this video. We'll move on from that now. We'll start talking a little bit about another feature that a comment was made on in my videos, lane splitting, and I've been doing it a lot while we're talking here. It's completely normal and legal in Thailand to lane split. I would even argue it's absolutely necessary. If you didn't lane split, the congestion would just be absolutely phenomenal. It's bad enough already. Bikes lane splitting is I guess like a natural course of how people use the roads. I like to sort of think of it like water flowing around rocks, right? Like, so the cars, if you imagine sort of water moving down a water course, big rocks in the way, it just flows around it, and that's how the bikes treat cars. They'll just move around them, you know, using any available road space to get through, and available sidewalks as well if they're free. So yeah, lane splitting, really not an issue, and with the context of much more observant and aware car users or people driving in motor cars, it's actually really not that dangerous. You know, you can lane split very comfortably, even in moving traffic, knowing that the cars around you and the general awareness of the drivers around you is much higher, and they drive in a particular way that makes it more acceptable and easier to read the traffic and understand sort of who's doing what and who wants to go where. Hopefully we'll see some cars sort of doing that sort of slow progressive lane changes that I showed you before, but that really helps you when you are lane splitting to, you know, either get in front of them or use their opposite side to find a gap where they've just left the lane that they were coming from. It's really easy to sort of move around cars in that respect. Not too dangerous as well. So sort of lane splitting, you know, super normal. You can see everywhere I go in all my videos, there'll be lane splitting everywhere. There's a couple of other elements I wanted to talk about too. One of them was running red lights. So I'm actually not sure on the law on running red lights in Thailand, but just through observation, I wouldn't be surprised if it was legal to run a red light in the left lane. That's an incredibly common practice. You know, I would sort of hazard to say that every red light I stop at, somebody does it. But generally in the left-hand side lane, turning as well, people sort of ignore the red light. But even going straight through an intersection or turning across an intersection, you'll see a lot of people running red lights just to save time or just to get through the traffic. The lights are often controlled by a little police box at the intersection. So it's up to that sort of cycle of whoever's manning that post gate. Oh, there's a crash up here. Two cars came together, one trying to turn around on the outside of the other one. Didn't quite turn around, he thought he had. So yeah, running on a red light is again a very common practice. Even through very big busy intersections, you know, if there's a quiet spot in the traffic, then it's quite normal to sort of skip through the red light. And I'll give you some, well, there's a big intersection coming up ahead. Maybe we'll have an opportunity there to demonstrate what is a safe and unsafe technique to do that. So I'll talk more about that later on. But the next, another element I wanted to sort of talk about as well was using the rear brake on a small capacity bike. Using the rear brake is something that I've really found myself doing a lot more in Thailand than other places where I've ridden, and definitely on other bikes that I've ridden. I've spent a lot of time riding on FZ1s, FZ6, 600 and 1000cc bikes by Yamaha, also CBR 400s, 500s, those sort of capacity bikes. And I'd never ever used the rear brake in the same style I do on the bike I'm riding now, which is 125cc Honda MSX 125. It's a lot more controllable on a smaller bike to use the rear brake, and it's a technique I learned from these guys. Like this guy in front of me here is a motorbike taxi in the heavy traffic, to correct the attitude of the bike when you're moving between cars. So the general technique is like this: up to this car, slide the rear wheel, bring the back around, and it just lets you lean through the corner a little bit more easily and helps you to keep the momentum of the bike. Do it again. So there we go, just bring the back around. So it's a technique that I learned from the taxi drivers, but definitely handy to keep momentum through traffic that's not too densely packed, you know, like if there's a little bit of room between it and it's stopped, then no problems at all with sliding the rear. Also, any sort of speeds below sort of 60 k's an hour. You can see these cars, speaking of running red lights, these cars are still doing it. Always, 60 k's an hour on a small frame bike like this. It really handles, I would almost say, more like a bicycle than a bike at those kind of speeds. And sliding the rear is very controllable, and you know, it's actually a lot of fun as well. You can really feel like you master that element of your riding on such a small bike. You don't have the heavy weight or imbalance that you can find, or even the grippiness of a sports bike rear tire. Like the tires on this bike are actually quite slick, and they allow for that kind of riding much more so than I don't know what tires are on the FZ1 that I often ride in Australia at my dad's place. But I tell you what, they're designed for grip, not for sliding. And if you do try and slide them, they generally fight back pretty hard. Conditions on the road here, can't really see here, but it's sort of very much worn bitumen, sometimes poured concrete. So even the road surfaces are a lot slicker, normally quite dirty. It rains a lot, but there's always a lot of oil and just a lot of general road grime, dust and whatnot on the roads. So yeah, very slick, very easy to slide the rear tire, and very easy to control it as well. A lot of fun. Trying to find a way through the traffic here, getting a bit stuck behind this van. There we go. You notice as well that my bike is quite a lot louder than the other traffic around. Haven't really had a chance to demonstrate it, but it's really something that I made a conscious decision about when I decided I was going to buy a bike in Thailand and start riding to work and home. I decided to put twin pipes on my tiny little bike and make it louder, just as a safety feature. You know, often I'll blip the throttle going through traffic, or I'll just use engine braking as well to let people know I'm around. Make sure that they're giving me due space. There's also a comment made, actually, now that I think of it, about a girl that was on the back of a bike with no helmet, no safety gear, you can see, like here. And even in front of me here, this schoolgirl, she's coming home from school on a motorbike taxi. This is the reason why cars don't drive as aggressively, because they know these sorts of pillions are on bikes, and even a lot of the bike riders themselves have been flip-flops or just t-shirts, whatever. Even myself, you know, I've got gloves and a helmet on, but aside from that, I'm just wearing my office clothes. So cars are a lot more conscious of the fact that if they do make a mistake and do hit a bike, you're going to do some pretty serious damage to the person who's riding it. And Thailand being a Buddhist culture, I guess karma is going to get you, right? Yeah, but generally speaking, the road use here is a lot more cooperative and a lot less aggressive than other countries that have shared the road on or in. You know, you often see somebody going up the wrong way on the street, or trying to do a U-turn where they really can't do a U-turn, and they're blocking everybody. Very rarely will you hear somebody blasting the horn and getting angry and carrying on. Normally people just understand, okay, they needed to do a U-turn, this is the best spot they had, and they'll let them do it. You know, just wait patiently and your time will come when you can move on. This little guy here is a little public transport as well, kind of like a taxi, like a communal taxi. They call them baht buses. Pay 10 baht, which is about 30 cents, and they'll do some short trips for you, a couple of kilometers. I'm actually on the wrong side of the road here now as well, but it's clear and, you know, people expect it, so not so bad. And this is just a little alleyway I use to get to and from my house. Cuts off some of the other traffic, and about 10 minutes of my trip makes it a bit quicker. So yeah, that's it. Just thought I'd make another little video, let you in on some of the finer details of how the traffic works, how the people share the road here. And I'll make another series of videos honing in on each of the specific points, so keep an eye out for that. But thanks for watching another Bangkok Bike Diary.